time to mix things up a little bit and take the lens of humor to the everyday works of our industry. In the words of our next speaker, the last year has given us quite a bit to think and laugh about. The search for balance, the new hybrid species that we've become, the peculiarities at work, the obsession with Gen Z for marketers. And thank you once again to our inspiration partners, Metrics Lab, NIQ, and YouGov for their kind support.
We're running out of time, but she's better than the bar opening early. Who is she? Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Shobha Prasad. Shobha is an award-winning research and insights professional, a speaker in Indian and international forums. She's founder director of Drshti Strategic Research Services. Shobha, the stage is yours.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, cool. And I have the happy task of bringing back balance to the force. Okay, I am going to infuse, at least they fondly hope, humor into the proceedings, because I think work-life balance is overrated. Work-laugh balance is what we ought to have. And I think the market research industry has a huge sense of humor. Do you all agree with that? Yes? Especially those of us who've spent 30 plus years in this industry, the acetate generation. Yes? I think after today, let's call ourselves the acetate generation. So having ensured that nobody is going to take offense to what I'm going to say, because all of you have a great sense of humor, let's now proceed. So I'm going to look at the year from my lens, right? So 2022, if you remember, we were coming out of COVID. We were kind of peeping out from behind the curtains. We were masked, right? But 2023, there is no masking. Masking, sanitization, it's all a thing of the past. We've thrown it all away. And we have moved on to a new normal. And how we knew that this new normal had actually happened, we found out that there is a new immunity in town. Okay? Can I interest you in our latest immunity product? Oh, I don't know. I think I have developed immunity to your immunity products. Right? So if you remember, we spent 2 solid years developing a huge number of immunity products, all of which we have now consigned to the trash bin. So all our immunity lip balms, lollipops, cauliflowers, immunity toasters are all a thing of the past now. So now we are moving on. And now that we are moving on into, in fact, the last year has been an extreme hybrid era, where, offline and online have kind of gotten enmeshed to something which we can call the onfline, right? So how does this onfline work? If you ask all companies, this is the kind of operation they have. Monday online, Tuesday offline. Wednesday online, Thursday offline. Friday online, Saturday of course. And the confusion is that you are online but you feel you're off, right? You are offline but you feel you're on because you're at work, and so on. So there is so much confusion in our heads. We live in a kind of a twilight gray zone where, this kind of situation could well happen. Okay? And reality today is one more screen. So, people are so enmeshed in their, in the online-offline world, nobody knows quite where they are. And reality is just one more screen that people are going through. And because of that, you might find some new problems. For instance, take the case of this oculist. I wonder what caused such a peculiar eye condition. This is what caused it. This feels familiar to all of us? And after a Zoom call, I think this is the latest mutation that you're going to find, the latest evolution in our human beings. Okay, so I think the future is going to look very interesting indeed. But let's move on. Another thing that we all know is that there is this new generation in town. Everybody's talking about it. The brand new generation that is just popped up into our lives. And let's look at, some of the conversations that might come up. It's so difficult to detach her from the phone. Can't have a straight conversation these days. Kids these days, the second lady says, kids these days are lost in their devices. Oh, I don't mean my kids. I mean my mother-in-law. So, the new generation, the new situation spawns very different kind of generations. But, even if you look at, the current generation and the way, today, if you go out into the market to understand need gaps, you don't have need gaps anymore. You have only greed gaps. And everybody wants more of everything. So this guy says, need gaps? Oh yes, just give us more of everything. Yes, fill that void, that greedy void, and faster. And another thing that, you might have noticed is that there is lots of pet puja. Except, what is the pet? How are the cats doing? Oh, they are awesome. Little Fifi is naughty but so clever. Bobo looks so fine. Zippy is a handful. Wait, I'll share pictures. Oh, how are your kids doing? Oh, them? I don't know. They are okay, I guess. And today the kind of pets that are talked about, and this pet parent thing, my feeling is that a year from now we will not be talking to pet parents. We'll be talking directly to the pets. And then next year, this time we will say market research has gone to the dogs, and we will be right. So the other thing that I noticed this year was lots of buzzwords. These are the common buzzwords: K-drama, Gen Z, AI, sustainability, inclusion, you name it, quite a few of these things. But I think the biggest thing that, that has really, caught people's, let's say, hearts, imagination is AI. So who is afraid of AI? I think we all are. So let's see, what is this AI phenomenon? Just imagine that, our market research has the Superman, the super being called Data Man, okay? So meet Data Man, a muscular AI data retriever, faster than the speed of thought. And Data Man says, I hear and retrieve, O master. The perfect situation, right? He knows your questions before you ask them and answers them. Data man's thinking, basically you are redundant. Is he going to take over our jobs? Our young researching man says, oh no. Data man thinks, oh yes. Let Data man relieve our load and bring back laughter. Data man says, wah ha 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 ha. So this sinister sort of a world is something that, is kind of on our minds these days. And the question we ask ourselves is, who's going to be the master? Are we going to be the master forever? So let's look at this. Two people discussing. ChatGPT is awesome. It did a report for me at the touch of a button. Soon AI will perform all tasks at trigger speed. And we will have nothing to do but enjoy better lives. This girl says, should we be worried? Guy says, nah. It's normal to fear technology, but man will always be the master. And our two AI creatures are saying, okay, you need to work on that girl also. Yes, I'm on it. So, imagine that you have AI now to take a lot of decisions for us. So imagine an AI boss, something like this. This is the AI tool for CEOs. So, basically AI boss, I input my business historical data, and AI boss will show me the way. So AI boss is processing all the data and, just about to give him an answer. And this is what happens. Scenario, just saying. Let's look at another scenario. We know that AI is kind of, developing a personality, right? And we know that it will develop probably our personality. So imagine that, all of us listen to the dulcet tones of our GPS while in the car. So now imagine this GPS. This guy says, nice GPS. This guy says, it's AI. It adapts to my personality. This GPS is now exactly like me. So it's got my personality. And if you notice, the GPS has been busy telling him, after 50 minutes, turn right. Next it says, turn right. After this, GPS loses patience. You missed the turn, you expletive moron. Now go around in circles till you die. Okay, so basically he says, I know what you mean. I think our future is going to be very interesting indeed. We have no clue where we are going. We have no clue what this AI is going to do, basically. But for the moment, we play. We play with chat GPTs. Hey, Chatty, can you compose a love song for my girlfriend in my style? Here's samples of my writing. Now go on now. So Chatty says, my love for you is like a shoe, a perfect fit in every bit. Guy is very happy. Ooh, that's perfect. She'll never know it's not me. That AI is saying, do you really think we're serving any useful purpose here? So it's interesting, okay, but that aside, over the years, some things have not changed. We are still running in place. We are still climbing, doing all our mental gymnastics, and we are still getting tired doing nothing physically, okay? And as for our flamboyant friends on the advertising side, we still interact with them in very interesting kind of, interactions. So for instance, typical scenario, this guy has done a blink test on an ad. The audience enjoyed the ad, but we can't pass it. Pathetic credibility scores. So the advertiser says, well, our ad is about a fire-eating dragon which swallows a mint and turns into a mouse. You have to be crazy to believe that ad. So he says, yes, they did say that the makers of the ad were crazy. The advertiser says, okay, we'll launch the ad. We'll turn now the dragon can morph into a lizard instead of a mouse, and things will be fine, because lizard and dragon are, of course, broadly the same species. This guy says the audience was right about the makers of the ad. And then another area which is very interesting is how people select target audiences. I work with different companies. Different companies have different age bands for target audience. Some of them say 18 to 25, some of them say 18 to 55, and I think I've cracked how it happens. This age is an important criterion, but it depends on whose age. So if it's a young brand manager, the target audience is young men in their 20s. If it is a middle manager, it stretches forward a little bit. It says upwardly mobile aspirational, let's add them also. Then we go a little further with a slightly more senior manager. We should look at empty nesters. And then there are some companies where there are, venerable old, acetate people like us. In which case, it becomes silvers, most definitely silvers. And I think if you look at companies and the retirement age of the senior management in those companies, you'll probably be able to draw a correlation with the target audience that the company goes for. And finally, the attention spans. Now, I know there's a lot of CMI guys, CMI people in this audience, and my hat's off to the CMI people. I think of them as, interpreting the voice of consumers, voice of God, to their internal audiences. And that is not an easy task. You're like Moses, who goes on top of the mountain, gets the 10 commandments, and then interprets it for your audience. So if you can imagine a modern day Moses, and if he had to go and get a 10 commandments to see, how he interprets it and what happens to him today, this is what he would say. 10 commandments? This won't land with my audience. Please figure out the one thing you want to say and say that. Don't give me 2 tablets of, 5 points each in each tablet. Just figure it out and tell me. So on that pious note, I will let you guys go to your bar and, your refreshments. Thank you very much. Oh, you're not going. Sorry. That was wrong information. Well, finally, keep smiling, guys. Keep smiling throughout 2024. Lots to smile about. Don't take things too seriously. And back to you.
But this was truly a laugh out loud, Shobha. Thank you for all the new material. We loved having you here. We wish you all the very best for your recently published book. funny business, consumers, corporates, and other cartoons.